you fans and all things plaster or plastering. Right, so we're back on this. This particular room, which is the kitchen, is now completely finished. Client's more than happy, which is good. So we're going to start what's going to be the little dining area next, which is through there. A couple of boards to chuck on the ceiling, and that's the ceiling then done. So it's not a big job on the ceiling. And then we've got to patch the walls up. They are in a bit of a state, which I shall show you right now. Yes, there's not too much to do in here now. Not as much as the kitchen was. Probably dab this wall here, and then the rest of it's going to be patching. And it's not massive, you know, there's not tons and tons and tons of it like there was in the other room. And guess what I remembered today? The screws for the collated. Super. Right, so for those that don't know, this is collated screw gun. Okay, so what happens is I push this onto my plasterboard, for example, and it lifts a screw into position, and a very long screwdriver that's rotating sits into the screw, and it screws it into the board for you. And it does it to just the right depth and everything, providing you've got your settings correct. There you go, and you can literally just go gzunk, 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 gzunk across a board. You're not having to pick one screw at a time out and bugger about with the impact like I did on the kitchen ceiling, for example, on this particular job. Right, so I've spent the last hour cleaning this damn room out. I've shifted an extremely heavy log burner that's in a packing crate, that was heavy, and an extremely heavy 6 gas ring burner double oven cast iron range. So they're now out of here, plus I moved a load of tiles and got all the crap out. So we're about ready to start. But first of all, we're going to brew up, because if I start, I'll end up not having a brew. So we shall catch you shortly. So whenever you're putting up plasterboards and you're putting them to the wall, it's always an idea to get your pencil and mark up where either your ceiling spars or your floor joists are, so that when you come to screw, you're not missing, you're not thinking, where the hell is it? You know, 2 seconds with that and it saves you lots of pain. Well, this is going to be fun. Let's get this board up here. On your head. Right, let's get some screws in. How much easier is it with that? I mean, if you're a plasterer out there in the world and you're just beginning, you're set up on your own, or indeed you work in sites, you haven't got one of these, it's well worth the investment. You know, it saves you so much time and effort. Just chuck a roll of 3 in the end of it now, and that's it, that's that board up. And as you can see, it's pulling the belt through, which is now empty on that side, but full of screws on the other. And it'll keep doing it, pulling it round until that belt is completely empty. No more rooting in boxes for screws, etc. So much simpler. Like I say, if you haven't got one and you're doing this for a living, make that investment, get yourself one. Well worth it. This is the second one that I've owned. And yeah. Okay. So one of the little problems that we have today is we've no drywall adhesive with this. So what I've done, I've cut the boards all to size and I've tacked them to the wall with some drywall screws, as you can see there. Obviously, temporary measure. So tomorrow I'll pick up some bags of drywall and we'll dab all around this opening here. Well, this is the kitchen that we did last week. As you can see now, it's started drying out, which is good. But I never got a chance to get you any footage of it completed because we ran out of charge and I've no charger with me, so we'll get you a bit of footage now. But it's worked out well in here. Like I say, the client's very, very happy with it. Skim everything when it's all prepped. And a very good morning. Right, so what are we doing today? It's Wednesday, by the way. Oh, we're going to finish prepping this room. And first, we're going to do the arch. A bit like play school, through the arch. However, we're not going to be using the old Snippingtons to make an arch bead today because I have purchased some pre-made plastic arch beads, which I shall show you now. This is your arch bead. Now you can see that side is a solid piece. Okay, we flip it over and you can see that it's got cuts in it, so it will flex and bend. Now that's how we were doing it with the metal beads. We were cutting one side of it, so it flex and bend like that. Only these, obviously, they're, you know, lovely and flexible, so you can bend it around your arch without struggling. Right, let's get this bugger fastened on. As you're going around, just keep checking that you've got that lovely sweep round there. You know, you don't want it all, just keep it nice and even and everything. You know, and if it's showing, not that it is on here, but if it's showing, you know, it's going to be thick finish underneath there in places, don't worry about it. You know, just dub it out. It's that profile there that we're interested in. Keep that right. Plenty of nails. Don't spare the nails. Two stuck together there. Right, so that's your plastic arch bead. Now we're going to start coming down. So we get as far as the bottom of the arch. You get that first nail in. That seems somewhat hard, doesn't it? Bent my nail. if you look on the fence, just out there, you can see there is a squirrel. I don't know if the camera's picking that up there, but there he is. He's staring in. There he goes. Look at this, like a zoo here. There's a big magpie just landed now. And there's the squirrel again. Bit of a nature video. Right. Enough of that rubbish. Let's get back on with what we're supposed to be doing, the bead. So, I'll just trim a little bit off the bottom of it because there's a big lump of crap on the floor, which looks like an old bit of screed or something. So, we'll just cut a little bit off the bottom because we're going to put the level on it to plumb it, because we know that that edge is like that. Pick her up like that, that's easy. Snip a bit off there. Just bear in mind the bottom, you know, it's going to have skirting board around it anyway, so it doesn't matter if you're a little bit shy. Back in there. Yeah, that's better. There's a nail in the wall as well there. It's fighting us this morning. Right, that's killed that nail. Straight and plumb there. So, whilst holding the level and getting a nail, we need to, there we go. Right, we'll get a nail in there now. Don't lock it all the way in yet. Just check again. Right, nope, not happy with that, so we'll take that one out again. Try again there. It's well out. It's not playing today, this. Right. Stop there. Get on. That's better. That's more like it. Get a nail into there now. Very important that you get it lovely and plumb, because don't forget it's visual. You know, if you've got it leaning or you've got a hump in it or something, it's going to be seen. It's worth spending, you know, 5 or 10 minutes just getting it bob on, making sure it's plumb and it's straight. No point rushing and making a mess of it. You know, it's sort of like, oh, I'm on price, I've got to get it done quick, and then you've cocked it up. So just take them extra 5 minutes and get it spot on. Which I'm sure a lot of you do, you know. Right, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. With no gap behind that level now. That's lovely and straight, and the bubble, which I very much doubt you can see, is within tolerance. It's just ever, and I mean ever so slightly out of plumb. But we're talking a millimetre maybe. out of plumb. So we're happy with that. Right, so we can get a few more nails in it now, so it's good and secure. Because now we've got the nails in, it's not going to move anywhere. It's Lego. Right, get one at the bottom there. I mean, I can see standing here that this wall is like that. It's, you know, it's on a tilt. So there's nothing I can do about that. Absolutely nothing. You know, it's standing this way and looking, it's fine. But when you go on the inside, you can see that the bead itself is leaning in because the wall is leaning in. But to be honest with you, I mean, you know, it's a 125, 130-year-old building. What do you expect? You know, it's going to have the odd lean here and there, isn't it? You know, maybe we could go to the extremes of redab that wall and bring it all straight, and you know, people don't have the budget for doing that sort of thing. You know, it's costing her an arm and a leg to do this house anyway. You know, so we'll let it go at that. Right, we'll get the third bead, which is the second bead, which is the one I'm going to cut. You know what I mean by that. Okay, let's get that bead. Okay, so we've cut the second bead, but this one's going to go on straight. And if you look at the profile on these, it's actually quite big compared to the skin beads, the metal skin beads. And that's why I'm going to do the whole thing in plastic. Because the skin bead, let's see if we can find you a little piece. Somebody had a clean up last night. Found a bit. Yeah, the clean up last night, got rid of all the crap. Right, if you look at the end profile of the two, you can see the difference in size on the very, very end of the bead itself. So if I was to put that skin bead against the plastic, it wouldn't fit correctly. You'd have a little bit of a bump or a lip. So when you're troweling up, it's going to leave a line, it's not going to look great, you know. So if you can, do it all in plastic. I mean, they're not cheap, these things. They're not cheap by no means, but what's best? Extra few quid, perfect job, or save a few quid and have it not quite right, not quite so perfect. I know which I prefer. Right, now then, so this one, we're going to join it there, get nice sort of joint there, and just get one tack in it. So I can get my hammer. Right, so that's now tacked at the top. So that's now tacked at the top. However, the problem with this side is that it's brickwork. It's not stud. So I have nothing that I can nail to. You know, you might get lucky and get into a mortar joint and be able to knock a nail in, but you could be there all day doing that. Plus, the whole thing is like that. So to get it straight, what I'm going to do is knock up a little bit of drywall and bed the bead on. And again, same procedure, straighten it up with the level and get it nice and plumb. Because the plumb, the opening, instead of it being like that or like that, it'll be parallel, which is what we're trying to achieve. Sometimes, you know, you can't get it bob on plumb because the wall's that far out and you can't do a lot with it, I understand that, but you get it as near as you can. So that visual, when somebody's looking at it, they're not like, not wall leaning, they're looking at it and thinking, that looks nice, I like that archway. Personally, I'd have had it square. In fact, it's a larder, so I'd have probably had a door on it. However, it's not me, it's not my house, and I'm just doing as I'm told. Right, let's mix some drywall. Okay, for the unknowing, that is drywall. It's a British gypsum product. It's the only one really I like. There are other ones on the market, but I tend to stick with the gypsum when I can. And what it's for, again for the unknowledgeable ones, it's for sticking plasterboards to brick or blockwork or indeed concrete walls. That's in layman's terms. It's for dot and dabbing. Okay, let's mix a bit up. Right, so again for the unknowledgeable ones, you want your bucket with a bit of water in. Put your water in first. And then put your drywall powder into your bucket. You can scoop it out with your hands as I normally do. However, I'm trying to be civilised today and do it with a trowel. So you don't want this stuff too stiff, you don't want it too runny. It needs to be just right. What is just right? Well, you kind of get to know what is just right. So, again, if you're a bit of a DIY fan and you've never done it, you want to go a bit of dot and dabbing, what I suggest you do is put the water in, add a bit of powder, stir it in, add a bit more, stir it in, add a bit more, stir it in, until you get it to the right consistency. And if you do accidentally put a little bit too much powder in and it's a little bit too dry, you can always add a drop more water, and vice versa. So we'll give it a good old mixing in. You can use your paddle mixer if you're doing a lot, which we'll be doing shortly when we dab the walls. But this is just a bit to bed this bead on. So we'll give it a good corruption with that trowel. Try and get most of the dry lumps out of it. Right, there you go. You can see it is quite sticky. We won't do it for too long because it will fall off. So we're quite sticky there. And that's basically how you knock up your drywall. Okay, let's get on to this bedding it on. Right, so we've got our tack at the top there. So we know it's not going to fall off. As you can see, it fell off. However, that's not a bad thing, because what we need to do before we tack it at the top, which I should have done before, really, is get some drywall on there. I'm going to put plenty on the internal side of this because it dips right in. Somebody at some stage has made what is technically known in the industry as a bit of a cock of the job. And plenty of adhesive on. Now, a lot of youngish chaps that are starting their career in the industry, I noticed on some of the forums, you ask questions and, you know, for example, it'd be something like they're doing this and it's like, do I need to put SBR on it first? Do I need to PVA it first? Well, think about it. It's drywall adhesive. You can stick it straight onto bricks, straight onto blocks, straight onto concrete, provided it's not dusty, that is. You don't need to PVA it. You don't need to put SBR on it. You don't need to put grit on it. It just goes straight on because it's in the name. Adhesive. It sticks. Get it on your cap, it's not coming off, you know. plenty on there. A bit like making your butties up in the morning and getting that cheese spread on your bread. Not that we're on cheese spread today. Bit of ham salad today. Right, so you can see there we've got a lot of adhesive on. But we don't have to worry about that because most of it's going to ooze out and squeeze out as we straighten up. The important part is getting that joint. In fact, I'll turn that beaver around to the uncut edge. I should have mentioned that. Use your uncut edge to do your joint. I mean, this is very awkward to do, this one, because of the state of the wall that we're going on. But it is achievable, it is doable. So very gently put that bead on there like that. I'm not going to push it in as yet, because we need the bubble. We need to get the bubble right onto that edge there. So it would be the leaning edge of the bead. So you'd be on an angle, which is going to get you that way, which we're nice with. And then you want to go onto that side to check your plumbness. Now, our plumbness is out. We put the level back on, and we'll push her in at the bottom. Keep going, keep going. Right, she's now showing plumb there, and then we go to the other side, and we get it as plumb as we dare, because we know this wall is out. That's pretty plumb there now. And then recheck that side, because it will have pushed it out ever so slightly, and then it goes again. Right, so that's now looking lovely and straight there. Just double check the top, make sure that we're nice. Now I can actually see that this is all, you know, it's all leaning out that way on the actual arch. There's nothing really that I can do with that because of the shape of the wall. Now we're a good inch off the wall in places on here. So I'm going to use some of the drywall just to fill it out a little bit. Later on when I look up the bonding, we'll straighten it all up with that properly. And then same again, bring it down like that. Bear in mind these walls are going to be skinned, so you know we're not worried about getting a bit of mess on them. But we will be putting the wet brush on it just to flatten off the drywall in a while. Not just quite yet. I want it to set in a little bit before I do that. Plenty on there. Just keeps wanting to come out at the bottom because the bead itself is trying to curl. So what I might do is put a little tap into the floor. You can find the hammer just to stop the bead from curling outwards. Just a tap into the floorboard. That's it. More gear on there. Gear. Of course, the drywall, you can go straight over that with your bonding. Again, you don't need to be thinking about priming it with anything. You can go straight on. You can even go straight on it before it's set, if you so wish. However, I personally wait until the bead is hardened up and set before I go near it with bonding. And we're not moving the bead. Right, where are you? Oh, you're there. Right, so that's pretty much the plastic bead on there. You can see that it's probably a lot quicker than doing the metal ones. Now, if you have a look there, you can see the metal one that we did last week, and then compare it with the one we've just done. So the plastic beads, they do make a neater job of it. They are simpler to do. And like I said last week, you know, given the choice, I'd have used a plastic one on the arch, but circumstances beyond my control, as they say, I had to use metal ones. But that's it, that's now all plumb, square, best we can get. And once that's all skimmed in, it'll look dapper. Okay, so what's next? Well, next we're going to dab on these boards that we cut yesterday. So it's just a case of screw them, unscrew them. Well, I'll number them all first, so I know where they go. And then unscrew them, take them all off, stack them up, and then it'll be like putting together an Airfix kit. Do you remember them when you were kids? Yeah, right, so that's next. Let's do it. Right, impactor. We're on reverse. Pull out the screw, chuck it down, get in there, and then we can safely remove the board. Bottom there. Same again, whip the screws out. Get our wires out of the way. Oh, another screw in there. And then I want a piece of plasterboard now, just a little bit, to act as a piece of chalk. Roll it down there, so I know that's where my joint is for my dabs. So we're going to put the full sheet on first and put the little strips to the corner after. For the simple reason, I've screwed the board to the timber that you can see on the edge there and plumbed it. So I've got a reference point for my board to be dabbed to. Now, once that's on a new position, everything else will follow that round to keep it all nice and straight. Okay, so next we're going to need, so this is the trowel that I use for doing my my dabbing work, which is the variety, it's an ox. A lot of lads like the ox. I don't mind it for, you know, rough work and dabbing and things like that, but as a lane on trial, I'm not a big fan. You know, I prefer the Marshalltowns or the Raffinas, that kind of work. Okay, so that's the tools we're going to need to dab that, including the all-important level. I do have a big feather edge as well, but I'm not bothered bringing it down here. We don't really need it. You can just do it with the level, because that level isn't level. So I'll just use it as a straight edge, and then I'll put the level on the level to get it level. Anyway, right, I'll mix up some gear now, and we'll start. Okay, that's the gear mixed up. So now we're going to start the process of dot and dabbing. Now the rule book says that you do a full strip right around the perimeters of the board, then a series of dabs in the middle. Now that's the specification you'll see on some of the British gypsum literature. Well, of course it says do a full strip right round your board, because when you think about it, you're doing, say, a full house. How many extra bags of drywall adhesive are you going to have to purchase because you've gone right around the board instead of just dabbing the edges? Think about it. I certainly think it's because it sells more gear, because originally we were taught just to do a series of three runs of dabs and a continuous strip at the bottom to take the skirting board. But now I believe you've got to go right round it, and no. So this is how a plasterer in the real world does it. So, nice big blob on your hawk. It's going to be a bit difficult to try and film. In fact, let's see if we can move you across a bit, so you don't just see me back. See what I mean? Right, so we've got our line drawn on, so we know where the dabs are going. So we put some nice big lumps on down there. Now we know it's going to be quite thick on this wall, so nice generous dabs on it. Excuse me, very dusty in here today. And what I like to do as well around the black boxes, I like to just put some there, so that when the electrician puts his plates on, his sockets or his light switches, and especially if the metal ones, and they screw them back, it doesn't pull the board back. Okay, it supports the board. Plus it helps to hold the back box in place, I suppose. Just something I've always done. It just gives it that bit more oomph around the box. Plenty of gear on. Now the very edge of it has a timber in here. So I'm going to put dabs on anyway, because that'll hold it. But once it's set, I'll put a series of drywall screws in as well. Probably doesn't need it, but I'd rather it be in and it be solid than risk it ever coming loose. Another blob on that wire there, it was sort of flapping about. Now you can also, the edge of your board, which is that way, you know, you've got a square, you can fill that from top to bottom with drywall adhesive, so it's a solid corner. And then when you come to do your beading, you can always tack your bead on with a clout nail rather than bedding it. You know, it's not part of the rules, but you could do that if you wanted. And on the bottom, plenty of dab to support the old skirting board. Because again, when the joiner screws the boards back and they pull in, it'll damage the plasterwork. So if you've got a good wad of dab down there, solid one of it, it's not going to pull in on you. Okay. Right, so that's now our dabs on. So what we do next, obviously, is put the board into position. Now I put a block on the floor when I cut the boards, a piece of plasterboard, strip of plasterboard, which will lift that board up off the floor. And one of the reasons that we do that is basically if the floorboards have to be lifted, you know, they're not trapped under the board, and then you've got shrinkage and expansion of a floor and vibration and movement of a floor. So obviously if your boards are tight to that floor and there's a bit of a bounce in the floor, it's going to damage the plasterwork. You know, there's a problem with cracks and things like that appearing. So we pack them off a tiny little bit just to leave it free from the floor. Right, so carefully the old wire through. Well, normally I tuck the wire into the back box, but there's that many wires there that I can't do that. And the electrician has written on the wires what the floor, so I don't want to cut them off. Otherwise, it's going to be stuck to the floor. Okay, so we've got the big straight edge, and we put it there like so. Whole level on, and it wants just a tiny bit there, and that's now lovely and plumb there. So go to the other end. Push the bottom in a little bit. I'll just bring that top out a slight little bit. Actually missed with the dab there. That's the problem is, we'll just push the dab down into it. And try again. That's it, that's nice and plumb there. Just double check the side again just in case it's moved, which it probably has. This was the bottom, tiny touch. And there we go. So that's the first board on now. And it's nice and plumb. So everything else will follow that round now. We just set everything off that board. So our next job is to get the old howdy there into the corner. And we check it to make sure that it's square with the wall opposite. Right, okay, so we're within tolerances there. It is ever so slightly out, but like I said, we're within tolerances because this particular wall at the side of us, we know it's a bad wall, and it's absolutely spot on at the top, but then the middle it's out slightly and the bottom it's spot on again. So that says that it's the wall we're going on to, because we know that our new board is perfectly straight because we've got the straight edge on it and we know it's plumb. So it's within, it's fine, it's fine. And this is a dining area, so it's not like it's going to have cupboards in it or tiles on it or bathroom suites in it or anything like that. So even if it was out of square by, you know, that wouldn't really make any difference, you know. So right, so next we do the little strip down the corner, and once we've got the bottom end on, we can then put on the top board and start moving across and get the rest of it on. Right, well, I'll carry on doing that and catch up with you in a little while. Well, it's lunch's timus. That's Latin for it's lunchtime. Right, so this week we've had some great comments off you chaps. Just simple things, you know, like, yeah, it's hard work, and I used to do plastering with my dad, and another guy, he's a decorator, and he's talking about shoulder pain and so on. So yeah, you're obviously enjoying the videos. Also, we had a comment of a chap, we're not naming names, not unless you want me to. But anyway, we had a comment of another chap from when I was skimming the ceiling in the kitchen on this job. And he said, one coat, question mark. So yeah, I understand what he was saying. Basically, I didn't film putting on the second coat because you're pretty much doing what you've just done, you know, and the video was getting long anyway. So I always do 2 coats. I'm not one of these that one coat's sponge float and all that nonsense. So it's 2 coats. So apologies for anybody that thought I wasn't doing it right. I actually was. It was just a case of not filming it all. As you can probably understand, it does take quite a bit of time out of your day doing the filming. And sometimes you've just got to bite the bullet and get on with a job and turn the camera off. Right, well, I'm going to finish my well-earned cuppa, because we've got all the dot and dabbing done now. I've got beads on, I've started patching in, got loads done. Do you want a quick peep? Okay, let's have a quick peep. There you go. You can see now that that wall's completely dabbed right round. And what I've done on the other side of it, I've put a strip, about a 2-inch strip right round, so that I could bead it. Because I'm not right sure what we're doing with the other side yet, whether it's going to be float and set or it's going to be dabbed. So I've dabbed some strips of board round, just basically so I can bead it and skim up the reveal when I do the rest of the room. So that they can then put a dust sheet over the opening and get the kitchen, etc. fitted at this side of it. And nobody needs to come in afterwards. Yeah, so it's all going pretty well. I was hoping to have it all completely prepped for lunchtime today, but not a chance. It was awkward to do as that dabbing. I'm not exaggerating now, but at the very, very top of it, I had to dab some board on it, let that pull in, and then dab the actual piece of board that's going to be the finished surface on top of that, because it was 3-4 inches. The brickwork had fallen back, so I had to build it right out. Everything was a mile out of plumb, so again, big dabs to plumb everything up and get all the reveals right and so on. It's been a bit of a task, in all honesty. Even the lintel that somebody's put above the opening was at a level by quite a bit, you know, so it's been a challenge. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for this morning's work. Right, I'll do a bit more filming this afternoon for you. We're going to do the patching in with a bit of gear, and hopefully then it's just a case of PVA and skin, and that's that bit done and finished. Right, I'll catch you in a bit. Gonna have my dinner. Yeah, another thing somebody mentioned was about the plastic finishing trowels. Did I have one? And of course, I've not got one. Or have I? Yep, I've ordered one. It's supposed to be coming today. So I shall use it on this next stage of the job and give you my thoughts on it and see what it comes up like. I have thought for quite a long time now about getting one, just never got round to getting one. But I thought with the comment there, why not? Let's get one. I mean, 20 quid for it. I think it's a 14 inch, might be a 16, I can't remember. Didn't need to get the little trowel to go in it because I've got half a dozen of them, little dwarf trowels. So it's only the blade really I've got to buy. So we'll give it a shot and we'll see. If any of you lads watching use them, please let me know what you think. Be interested to see what other people's thoughts are on using them. Well chaps, we're nearly 1,000 subscribers. We are 6 short. The countdown to having 1,000 subscribers is on. So if you watch some of our videos and you've enjoyed them, but you've not subscribed as yet, please subscribe. Let's get it to 1,000. And then it's a real goal. It's taken about a year and a half to get to where we are now. Like I say, another 6 and we're there. So come on lads, and ladettes, of course, ladies. Let's have you subscribing. So the countdown is on. The countdown to what? The countdown to 1,000 subscribers. Yep, 1,000 subscribers on the channel. We are 6 people short. So if you're watching some of the videos that we put out there and you've not subscribed as yet, but you're enjoying the videos, please, please, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get it to 1,000. It's been a long journey. It's been a year and a half since I started this channel, and we're just 6 short of 1,000. It's a bit of a goal to get to 1,000. Just nice round number. So if you haven't subscribed, please do it. And see you watching this week's videos. 1,000. Yep, 1,000. Minus 6. We need another 6 subscribers to the channel. And we'll be 1,000 strong. So if you're watching some of our videos and you've not yet subscribed, please, please, please subscribe. It's free, there's no charge. We don't want your credit card, nothing like that. All you've got to do is hit that subscribe button. And the benefits you get, you'll be able to see our videos every single week. Hit the button. Do you want to see something that really, really, really pisses me off on this job? This wall is to be overskimmed, which is what, 2-3 mil at the most. Again, he's left his back boxes sticking out because he couldn't be arsed cutting it into the brickwork. I mean, what do these electricians think we're supposed to do with that? You know, I mean, I can't do anything with it. Can't bring the wall right out, surely. It's a bloody nuisance, this electrician on here. Nothing clipped back again. I know I whine about this electrician on this job, but come on. You know, some of them on the job he's cut in, and others he's just left like that. Very annoying. Right, so I ended up having to float the whole damn thing to get around these back boxes again. But we've got it. I mean, I don't really get you a decent shot because of the light, but there you go. Save the day again. It's good and solid, nice and straight. I'm ready for skimming. Okay, boys and girls, end of the day walkthrough. So we've got all that there, floated and patched. I've still got the top to do, but I've run out of time, unfortunately. There's only a little bit, I reckon an hour in the morning to finish the prepping, and that'll be it. We'll be on the skimming. That's the easy bit. And if you look at that dog leg on that, I put the level on that wall, not just on the edge, but the whole wall, and it is out from top to bottom by 2 inches. Not a great deal I can do with that. It's absolutely awful. I think what's happened is, at some stage, somebody's put that arch in there, and they've either used a big metal arch former and not got it straight, or they've made it out of timber, which I think is more likely, and then just kind of like dog the plaster around it, because it runs back again up into that corner up top, and it's just sort of like the middle of the wall where they've done this archway, which is a shame really, but there you go. So there's all the dabbing finished. Beaded up both sides, and what I've done on this side is just a little bit around the perimeter of it, just add a bit of board on there so I can get the beads on, so I can get the sort of like the reveal, so to speak, skimmed. That's been a hard day, I've got to admit. And the bonding that I've used, it's some that was here, and it's set within 10 minutes of mixing it, because it's old. I don't know how well it'll fare, but it's certainly set solid now, and it's warm. Oh yes, it's warm. That chemical reaction, but it'll be all right. It'll be fine. It just sets really quickly when it's old. Right, we'll leave you there for today, and we shall catch you tomorrow for the final part of this video.